Welcome to Social Studies TV. For this week, let's get to know the importance of studying contemporary issues. In this rapid advancement in communication and technology, we become aware of and are continuously bombarded with issues that are national or global in scope. That is why, for this week, we will be discussing about contemporary issues. Our discussion is divided into 4 parts. The first part is the context and concept of contemporary issues. Many of you might be wondering about contemporary issues. The concept of contemporary issues comes from 2 important words, contemporary and issue. In order to better understand the concept, let us study the meaning and origin of the word. The word contemporary is from the Latin word contemporarius, from cum, which means with, and temporarius, which means of time. While the word issues means a matter of public concern. But what is contemporary issues? Contemporary issues are issues that have particular and significant relevance to the present time. Furthermore, contemporary issues greatly affect all humanity because it is not just one person or 2 people who are affected with these issues, but all of us are affected with these issues. The second part of our discussion is the difference among current events, controversial issues, and contemporary issues. The first one is current events. An event is current if it is still fresh in the mind of people who witnessed it or who were part of the event. The event we read in the newspaper or internet and watch on television every day are current events. An example of a current event is the closure of ABS-CBN's regional network group. Next is controversial issues. Current events become controversial when the public reacts negatively to it. An example of a controversial issue is the anti-terror bill, which now has become a law. Over time, current events and controversial issues should be gathered and analyzed to determine whether these have positive or negative impact on the present. This is what contemporary issues is all about. Issues of the past decade can be considered part of the present period in history. The next part of our discussion is the skills needed in the study of contemporary issues. The first skill needed in the study of contemporary issues is identifying primary and secondary sources. First, let's go to primary sources. Primary sources are immediate first-hand accounts of a topic from people who had a direct connection with it. Examples of primary sources are pictures, journals. One of the main reasons why we actually know about the life of Rizal is because he left behind a large number of journals. And the last example is interviews. Next is secondary sources. Secondary sources describe, interprets, evaluates, or analyzes information from primary sources. Examples of secondary sources are textbooks, like the textbooks that we are using in Philippine history or world history. Second, newspaper articles. And third, exhibition catalogs. Exhibition catalogs are pictures of different artworks from different artists or of the same artist. The second skill is distinguishing fact from opinion. First, let's go to fact. Fact is a statement that can be proven true or false. Also, statements are objective in nature. Take for example, the wearing of face shield. It is a given fact that face shields are now required in commercial establishments. It is not just enough that you are just going to wear a face mask or a face shield, but you actually need to wear both in order for you to enter into these establishments. Now let's go to opinion. Opinion is the expression of a person's feelings that cannot be proven. Furthermore, it may use descriptive language to appeal to your emotions and sway your thinking. An example of which is when you want to buy a certain product. Before buying the product, you actually check the feedbacks of other buyers and see if the product is actually working. The third skill is identifying bias. Bias is a statement that reflects a partiality, preference, or prejudice for or against a person, object, or an idea. It uses a selection of facts, choice of words, and the quality and tone of description. It also conveys a certain attitude or point of view towards the subject. Take for example, our biases against Muslims. When we see Muslims, we actually think of them as terrorists, when in fact, some of them are also victims of terrorism in their own country. And we have to take note that when we talk about terrorism, it actually is not related to any religion. And the last skill needed in the study of contemporary issues is forming inferences, generalizations, and conclusions, wherein inferences is a guess that you make while you are reading. It is also a judgment based upon the author's clues and your own experience. Take for example, whenever you see a man cross-dressed, you immediately come into a guess that he is a gay just basing on what he is wearing. Now let's go to generalizations. It is a broad statement that applies to the world or people in general. It is true most, but not all of the time. For example, women all over the world are considered as the one who should be taking care of the household. While it's true that women have an important role in a household, let us not forget that members of the family also need to fulfill their roles. Next, let's go to conclusion. It is a judgment that is based on more evidence. Additionally, it is a logical result of thinking about the information in the reading. Let's take climate change as an example. After gathering evidences about the increase of temperature in the atmosphere, scientists were able to conclude that climate change is indeed happening. Now let's go to the last part of our discussion, which is the benefits of studying contemporary issues. There are 5 benefits to studying contemporary issues. The first benefit is it helps people become part of the global village. Whether we like it or not, the world has become more inclusive as globalization has become the trend in the 21st century. Take for example, during the pandemic. Despite being miles away from each other, we were still able to communicate with our friends and family members because of technology. Also, because of technology, we get to know about the different issues that other countries are currently facing. Moreover, because of contemporary issues, it encourages competition among countries and companies forcing everyone to become more efficient in using resources. The second benefit of studying contemporary issues is it leads people to build informed opinions. Knowledge on contemporary issues gives us the ability to objectively decide where to stand on matters that affect our town, city, region, and nation. This may also influence our government officials in improving existing laws and provisions that could affect the different aspects of Filipino life. The third benefit of studying contemporary issues is it stimulates discussions. Awareness on contemporary issues could result to discussions that could pave the way for social awareness and to actions for social transformation. Furthermore, it helps us develop our speaking skills. The fourth benefit of studying contemporary issues is it helps people establish more personal relationships. Sharing insights and objective points of view on matters that concern the society gives other people a better view of us and helps them understand us. It gives people a view of our inner soul. And the last benefit of studying contemporary issues is it helps people learn about cultural relativism. Knowing the issues will better equip us to understand different contexts of cultures and enlighten us on how to make a wise decision and stand on different issues. It will also serve as an opportunity to change our views of cultural stereotypes and facilitate coexistence. Let's have the proper way of cooking rice as an example. Asians have their own way of cooking rice. That was why, when one of the BBC food presenter showed on how to cook rice, a lot of Asians were outraged because of the fact that it was not the proper way to cook rice. It actually became more viral when a certain YouTube content creator, in the person of Mr. Nigel Nang, or better known as Uncle Roger, made a video reaction on the way she cooked rice.
Drain it.
What's she doing? What's she doing? Drain the... Oh my god! You killing me, woman! Hiya, drain the...
The rice.
She draining rice with colander. Hi.
However, if we try to look at Western chefs like Gordon Ramsay, we will actually be able to tell that that is how Western countries cook the rice. That's all for today's discussion. I hope you have learned something new. See you next time on Social Studies TV.